middle school kids from typically LA area, but not necessarily. And they come from school districts that often have a dropout rate of 50%, sometimes more. It's pretty bleak. Half of the kids that come here tell us they've never seen the ocean. And once you go look at the neighborhoods they come from, it's rather surprising that half of them have seen the ocean. So this is really impactful in the sense that they've never been on a boat, they've never seen the ocean, and again, after an hour here, they're hauling on lines that are making huge, big things happen. And they have succeeded at something they never thought they'd find themselves doing. And that's I think, the essence of the whole thing.
My job is to show them a way they can live through hard work, and it's a lot of fun. That going through and doing things legitimately, doing things the right way isn't for suckers or isn't too difficult a way to live. I mean, maybe that's one of the difficulties, is they think it's too hard, but it's not. Nothing is too hard. You know, so we put them in an environment where everything is extremely hard. I mean, to do the simplest of things can be, you know, a 20-step process, and they do it, and they're like, wow, I just did that. And my hope is that suddenly it clicks that suddenly that these things that are supposedly really hard or that look like they're too much for me to handle may not actually be that way.
This is scary.
Coming this way, we want to change the angle of those sails in the boat in relation to the center line. So that's what the braces do.
Yeah, it's definitely happened. There have been quite a few who've come on with a bit of an attitude, those who don't want to do any work, don't want to help out at all. And, you know, typically you ride them a bit and they start to wear down and realize how much work it takes to run one of these boats and how much we need each other to make it work. And they generally, by the end of the trip, they're lending in, you know, helping us out and doing their part.
Kind of thing where the kid gets the individual experience. On an individual basis, they will succeed at doing their job to make this thing safe. We do it family style. They're better at ignoring orders than we are at giving them. So what we do instead is say, hey, we're glad you guys are here, because if you weren't here, we wouldn't get to go sailing.
The first time you take a kid aloft, which means taking them up or outboard of the rail, it's always a little bit challenging, especially since usually the first thing we ask them to do is to climb up the shrouds and then back over the futtocks and then up again over a platform. They never are quite sure if they're going to be strong enough or able to. Or when they realize they can, they just feel really empowered, and watching that happen is really great.
You watch the kids, and this reaction is the same every time, which tells us that we really do have their attention, whether they pretend to or not. The reaction is the kids at the top of the tough pecking order, you know, real tough kids up here, littler guys and girls down here, that kind of thing. The kids at the top of that aren't even looking up. They're still making sure they have shoestrings, right? The kids at the bottom of the pecking order are going, oh yeah, maybe I can do that. Without fail, it's a young lady or one of the smaller boys that goes up first. And when they start succeeding at that, you know, this big hierarchy that was there suddenly just levels out like this, and it really does encourage them, this sort of teamwork, cooperation stuff that goes on later on.
Biggest challenge with the students is not to bore them. I mean, they've set aside some time out of their ordinary week to come and sail with us. They may or may not like the ocean environment. They may not like boats at all, or have certain cultural fears about climbing or sharks or things like that we may have to help them overcome. Hopefully, working together and listening to them and working with them, we can help them have an enjoyable and constructive 2 or 3 hours on board.
All the kids came up to see the stars, and it was dark out, and it was so clear and beautiful and dark. we saw the Milky Way, and none of these kids had ever seen the Milky Way before. They just didn't even know what it looked like. They had never seen more than the stars you can see through the city lights, and that was really striking and really moving for me to be able to say, like, look, that's the Milky Way, and have all of them say, I've never seen that before in my life. Like, I thought that was really, really something else.
And it's really cool to watch, like, some kid who you're not sure of. You know, you have your natural biases that you form just by what you observe superficially, and then you see that person step up and grab another kid and say, no, you're not supposed to do it that way, it's this way, and they're right on, and they're absolutely right. You know, that's the cool stuff. There's no such thing as a hopeless child.
And to show them that there's other things out in the world to help develop team building and independence, and that there's options and things in the world other than just the city. We've had some students come on board who didn't know the ocean was salty, and so taking them out of the element like that is a very rewarding part of the program.
I think that it's really important that people can see these boats as a sort of opportunity to put everything that they might be interested in on land together in one place. These vessels literally will not move unless people who are on them work together and listen to each other and communicate well. And in that sense, they make the perfect sort of classroom.
Sheets on your halyard, haul away.